and welcome to News Epicenter with me, Sushant Singh Rajput. Before we get to our debate surrounding the controversy over Sushant Singh Rajput's death and the latest revelations coming in from the former employee of Cooper Hospital, getting some breaking news in the Tunisha Sharma death case. Now, what we are learning is that the doctor who attended to her has ruled out foul play, saying that except for a deep strangulation mark on her neck, no other injury mark was found on her body. Let's listen in to that reaction coming in.
अभी उनको जो डेथ डिक्लेयर की गई थी वो हमने 4:20 को की थी, 4:20 शाम के टाइम पे, जो ईसीजी रिकॉर्डेड है उस हिसाब से, और उसके 5-7 मिनट पहले उनको लाया गया था। तो सारे इन्वेस्टिगेशन ईसीजी में उतना टाइम जाता है जो, और बॉडी उनकी जो है वो तो मुझे लगता है रात को शायद 9 के आसपास फिर शिफ्ट की गई थी पोस्टमार्टम के लिए यहाँ से।
Right, I'm joined by Mihir Trivedi on the phone line. Mihir, so that message coming in from the doctor saying that there is no foul play involved in Tunisha Sharma's death beyond the strangulation mark that was caused by hanging. There's no other injury mark on her body. But her family continues to allege that there was some foul play involved behind her death, taking that direct shot at her former boyfriend.
That's true, Ayushman, and that's the reason the family has complained and given the statement. Especially the mother has given the statement to the police saying that it was the co-star and the love interest of Tunisha who was responsible for this particular step taken by her, the drastic step taken by her. But as far as the due diligence is concerned, once people on the crew of that film set, they discovered that something was wrong, they broke open the door and they found her hanging, and that's when they rushed her to this multi-speciality hospital close by, where a doctor conducted a couple of tests before they could come to a conclusion that she's no more. In fact, the doctor also goes on to say that they did inform the police once the ECG report came out and it was confirmed that she was no more, and that's when the police came in the picture and they took the body to JJ Hospital for post-mortem. But as far as the doctor's testimony is concerned, it's clear that there was nothing apart from the V mark on the neck, which was a strangulation mark that was caused by hanging, that the doctor could find any sort of suspicion in this particular case. They clearly said that there were no marks on the body which could really pinpoint to some sort of foul play at this point, and that is a very crucial kind of testimony from the doctor, who actually was the first person who was trying to understand and ascertain whether this person who has been rushed to the hospital is alive or dead. But after certain reports and certain tests, they found out that she was no more. As far as this case is concerned, the police is investigating the matter, and there are a lot of allegations on co-star as well as love interest Shehzad, who is under police custody at this point, and the police is trying to ascertain whether there is any sort of concrete evidence to prove whether this was a death caused by some sort of pressure that was caused by this particular co-star of Tanisha. And that's the allegation of the family as well, and that's why there is a section of IPC 306 applied in this case of abetment.
Right. Thank you, Mihir, for getting us that piece of breaking news. So the storm of charges continues on both sides, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a deja vu. So let's go back to June 2020, when the nation was gripped by the tragedy and the controversy surrounding the death of Sushant Singh Rajput, a beloved actor who was found hanging in his Bandra apartment. Now, initially, the Cooper Hospital ruled hanging as the cause of death, but the whole case turned on its head when Sushant's family, namely his father, claimed conspiracy in an FIR with the Bihar police, laying the blame squarely on Rhea Chakraborty, members of her family, and others in Sushant's orbit. This led to a massive, unsubstantiated and fiery debate surrounding nepotism in Bollywood, the harassment of outsiders, people even saying that a Rajput can't commit suicide, but mainly the drug angle, where simply on charges which still haven't been proven, Rhea Chakraborty was sent to jail, and a host of other actors from Deepika Padukone to Shraddha Kapoor to Sara Ali Khan were dragged into the case. Now, there is another twist in the story where over 2 years after his death, one of the mortuary staff members, a man named Roop Kumar Shah, who worked at Mumbai's Cooper Hospital, who was present during the autopsy, has claimed that Sushant Singh Rajput was murdered. He claims that Sushant had fractures, he was punched in both eyes and had wounds around his neck. He also says that the postmortem was not videographed and only pictures were allowed to be taken. Now remember, the AIIMS Medical Board also ruled out murder, but let's remember the panel had no access to Sushant's body. The latest claim has thrown another grenade in an already volatile case where no charge has been proven, everything is conjecture, and that is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. When will we have a closure report to end the rumors and the slanders, and most importantly, give a sense of finality to the family and the fans of Sushant Singh Rajput? In the absence of that, more and more people will come out of the woodwork and make such charges. The twists and turns will continue that have polarized public discourse from news studios to even our living rooms, giving more fuel to those who want to milk this entire case for political ends and denying closure to those who want the truth. Now, after over 2 years, what is stopping the CBI from pushing out a closure report to finally tell us how did Sushant Singh Rajput die?
खिंचाव के करने के बाद कैसा पकड़ के तड़पने के बाद टूटता है करता है, ऐसा मार्किंग 2-3 फ्रैक्चर था। तो ऐसा आदमी ऐसा खुदकुशी करने के टाइम ऐसा हैंग कर नहीं सकता है। साहब बोले अपन बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे, थोड़ा ऐसा इग्नोर किया। सुशांत सिंह से जिस वक्त फोटो लिया गया, वीडियो शूटिंग तो बात की बात है, जब फोटो देखा उसी के ऊपर भी बात पकड़ के चले गए। आप मतलब अगर तकदीर से आपको देखने को मिलेगा तो आप भी बता सकेंगे भाई ये खुदकुशी नहीं मर्डर।
Absolutely, that's the big question. Why no closure yet? I'm joined by Shehzad Khan and Manvi Taneja, both actors, as well as Praveen Dixit, former DGP of Maharashtra, and Dr. Nisha Khanna, psychologist. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Dixit, you are someone who knows the ins and outs of the entire system, the entire policing system. You must have seen numerous cases of alleged suicide. We still have to say alleged suicide because there's no closure report here from the CBI. How does this latest claim coming in from a mortuary staff member saying that he was murdered, how do you see this latest charge coming in when it comes to the already volatile Sushant Singh Rajput case?
Now, as you can see, this is a case under investigation. Initially by the Mumbai Police and then subsequently by the CBI. Now, here is a person, Rup Kumar Shah, as you mentioned. He is the staff from the mortuary. And he is making specific allegations based on his personal first-hand experience. He says that the videography is a subsequent thing, the photographs is the first thing. He was present at the time of the postmortem, and the description he is giving of various injuries as well as whatever you described in the statement made by him. Now, all this has to be looked into because he is further claiming that his seniors who were in charge of the perhaps postmortem at that time, the autopsy at that time, they in fact pressurized him to say that don't discuss this at this stage, we have to finish it, we have to submit our report, etc. And therefore, that will be discussed later on. Now, suppose if we have to find out whether this person is genuine or otherwise, and why he is making this disclosure at this juncture. He is coming up with a statement mentioning that at that time he was working in Cooper Hospital and there was a lot of pressure and he was also afraid of his job security. Now he has retired about 1.5 months or 2 months ago. Now there is no pressure on him and therefore he says that right from the beginning I was having this doubt and suspicion. And I mentioned it. Now, whatever he has given as a statement to the press or to the media also has to be recorded by the investigating officers in the CBI. And the statements or whatever his utterances, they need to be verified as well as examined by calling the necessary documents, photographs, videos, as well as the statements of those who concerned. The
Right.
important point which we have to remember is this is an absolutely expert opinion, technical matter. Whether there was any pressure on the technical experts, including the medical or the forensic science experts at that time in Cooper Hospital, to say something which perhaps they did not want to say.
Right.
So I feel the investigation has to be on the right track, and all the points which this person is now claiming, they need to be probed. Only then perhaps the CBI can come to a conclusion this way or that way.
But Mr. Dixit, this man is not a doctor. He is someone who worked in the mortuary department. He himself says that as per my 28 years of experience, this is what I feel, that it was a murder and not suicide. Now, the Cooper Hospital initially said that they ruled out murder. The Ames report to the CBI also ruled out murder. Can we go back to that angle just based on this person's statement?
No, you see, it's not a question of, as you rightly mentioned, he is not an expert. Expert is one who gives the final opinion.
Absolutely.
But he is a person who is associated with the actual process of conducting the postmortem. The postmortem involves first the clinical examination. That is the examination on the basis of as the body is brought in, along with the photographs, if there are any. And whatever he says, if he says that he was pressurized by the doctor to rule out certain things and probe the matter only in one angle or one direction, that creates a suspicion. Nobody is saying that he is an expert. It is not a question of one expert against another, like say JJ doctor expert versus the Ames doctor expert. That is not the case here. Here is a person who is a witness to the process of autopsy. And on the basis of that, he is mentioning that he, in a clinical examination, on the first appearance, he saw these injuries, he saw these marks, and he felt that these could not be because of the suicide. Now, that is the first-hand opinion given by this person. So, therefore, one has to examine whatever angles he is mentioning now.
Right. So you're saying that this is a valid angle to look into the charges that this person is making. Shehzad Khan and Manvi Taneja, I'm going to get your views on this. Shehzad Khan first. This man said that I did not speak up initially because I feared the Aghadi government, and now that they are not in power, which is why I'm speaking out and I'm ready to record my statement with the proper authorities. How do you see this latest grenade, if you will, in an already volatile situation, which is the Sushant Singh Rajput death case?
See, there's always two sides to a coin. We all want to know what happened to Sushant. Was it a suicide or was it a murder? We all want to know that. Not only the film industry, the entire world, you can say, and all his fans, they all want to know what is the truth. But if you look at the other side, this man, the gentleman coming out at this time, when the regime is changed, so it does put there are a lot of questions to be asked to this gentleman, that how, when, why did he keep shut for such a long time? If somebody who has to speak the truth will speak the truth anyhow, he will not care about his job. If you want to, only after he retires, after he's this, and then he's coming out with there is always a slip, they say, between the cup and the lip. So that has to be, as our panelists said, who's a more legal expert than what I am, but as an onlooker, as a citizen of the country, it's my right that I should know the fact about Sushant, because we lost a star, a future superstar. We lost. I loved him myself, and I'm a big fan of Sushant. दूसरों के लिए हो सकता है सुशांत इस दुनिया में नहीं, मेरे लिए सुशांत अभी तक इस दुनिया में है. मैं उसकी फिल्में हर हफ्ते देखता हूँ. तो मैं ये जानना चाहूंगा कि आखिर ये है क्या? What is the thing behind it? Or is somebody trying to frame somebody? Then that's a different angle altogether.
Right. Manvi Taneja, do you see this as a manufactured twist when you have two medical boards, the Cooper Hospital as well as the Ames panel, which ruled out murder?
See, I must say justice can be delayed but not denied. And here, you can see one person is coming up and says that he has some evidence to it. So I would like to say that Mumbai police did not manage to investigate the properly, and with the result, the things got really goofed up. They did not follow the autopsy procedure, which they have a procedure to be followed. Like normal autopsy duration is 3 hours, but they did it in 90 minutes. It was not recorded, and the time of death was missing in the report. Sample was for viscera examination was not appropriate. So these things were very crucial for this case, or I mean in any case, and it could lead to certain dimension. And if I talk about the crime scene, it was more like a picnic spot. Again, I said that Mumbai police did not do their job. That's why all of the things came into picture. It was not seized, evidence was not taken into custody, phones was not confiscated, no inquiry from the people who were there in the house, and they should be detained for the inquiry. I am sure the scene was controlled by some powerful people, and they were the authorities, and they managed to escape certain things. Because why Sushant Singh Rajput's body was taken only to Cooper Hospital when there were other hospitals available, even Disha Salyan, because these two cases are they have a link between these two cases. So the both of them were taken only to Cooper Hospital because they could manipulate the autopsy.
But Miss Taneja, I want to ask that it's been over 2 years and nothing concrete has come out. Once again, we're in the realm of conjecture over here, where you have few medical personnel saying that there's no evidence of murder. Now, not even an expert, not even a medical expert, someone who just worked as part of the mortuary staff is saying that there is evidence of murder. We're not getting closer to the truth at all. We're still in this storm of conjecture. What makes you still think that there was foul play involved in this entire case?
Because at the time of the crime scene, Mumbai police they did not do their job. They would have done certain things, which I told you right now. If they would have done certain things, as in they would have taken the evidences, they would have detained people. The hard drive was destroyed. They did not inquire from Rhea. They did not take Rhea or Sushant's mobile phone, and they did not try to look what was there in the chat. Later on, they discovered other things. So if they would have done all these things, I think the case would have been solved then and there only. And within 15 minutes of Sushant Singh's death, they said that it is a suicide. This is not a murder or something. You need to take the body to the hospital to confirm the exact thing, what it is, a murder or a suicide or whatever it is. And within 15 minutes, the officer said it is a suicide. So if you see all the things, you get to know that yes, he is trying to cover up something, and there are some powerful people who are involved, and they are controlling the crime scene.
But do you still put Rhea Chakraborty at the center of this conspiracy that was alleged earlier?
Yes, I do think.
You do? On what basis? Because the earlier drug charges kind of like posed her as some Pablo Escobar type drug lord who was supplying drugs to Sushant Singh Rajput. Nothing has come out from the entire case. She was put in jail. She went through the entire court procedure. Nothing has come out so far. So I'm saying, on what legs are we creating this case? Dr. Nisha Khanna, I want to get your view on this. In your opinion, does the entire process kind of raise red flags for you? Or are we still in that realm where, I remember when Sushant Singh Rajput passed away, the dominant theme from the conspiracy camp was that a successful actor who's doing so well can't commit suicide. In fact, some people from Bihar even said that a Rajput can't commit suicide. Do you think that we as a society itself cannot digest the fact that someone who's at the peak of his career can commit suicide?
I would say, as a professional, if you'll see, one thing I would say, what the actor pointed out, the red flags, that may be one of the valid or not valid. And why I think so, may not consider police those red flags as valid. One, the guy has a history of drug abuse. Second, the guy has mental health issues. And because of those issues, he was under the treatment of psychiatrist. There were prescriptions. Police must interrogated and spoke to those doctors who treated him earlier. Third thing is also, one thing you have to notice, that they had fights, and it came out public that Rhea and he has fights, and in this case, relationship fights were there, as they were living in a live-in relationship, and she was walked out. So you have to understand that when a person is going through a mental health history, when a person has a drug history, there are chances of lot of mental health issues, chances of probability of suicidal is higher. Another thing, the other things you negate because of these things, because these are very highlighted issues. Another thing, this is not a guarantee of any persons who is well professional settled and his personal life is not having a question mark. Again, if I still say and agree that, okay, maybe the Rhea had cheated her, or maybe misbehaved with her, or maybe helped her. But you have to understand this aspect also. This guy was not an 18 years or 16 or 10 years old guy. He was into his conscious. It was his right choice to get into that trap. Whether the girl is. I know people do emotional blackmailing. They are not self-aware. They are in their own mental health patterns. And that's why they don't get out of these sort of traps of any toxic relationship if he was going through. So you have to understand, if his family was very concerned, maybe he was not having good terms with his family. That's why his family, when pointed out in last few months ago and approached some professional, a police officer on WhatsApp, that our son is going through some problem or my brother-in-law is going through some problem,
Absolutely.
that person doesn't take to get action. You have to understand that. Somewhere the things were not in a lined up thing. So if this guy chose to be with that girl, I have to go ahead with these things, whatever it is. I believe that if someone is into a trouble and you are 18 years old, you are into your senses. This is your choice. So somewhere, if he is the guy who can spend numerous amount of 70,000 or 70 lakhs with his friends circle, he chose to spend that much of money to take his friends on a trip. Where he hired a chopper and took all his friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. If his friends were not that loyal, I would say you have to talk about emotional aspect. The person was hurt on lots of level. You can't take this as one thing. I again says it is a numerous one package. Career is one aspect. Your personal life can be totally different than your career.
Absolutely. And Shehzad Khan as well as Manvi Taneja, I want to get your point of view on that. When it comes to the entire mental health angle, which drives so many people to take their own lives, in the entire cacophony surrounding this entire conspiracy angle over his death that has been raised by this mortuary staff member also, are we completely ignoring that angle? Because as Dr. Nisha Khanna is pointing out, he was someone who had a history of mental health issues as well as drug consumption in the past, which only came to the fore after his death. Are we completely sidelining that entire angle when it comes to this entire case when we talk about what led to his death? Shehzad Khan first.
Actually, you're absolutely right. He had Sushant ko rehab ki zarurat thi. And maybe Rhea Chakraborty must have thought that instead of sending him to a rehab, I will try to, make him all right, which is very difficult. A person who has to be, God bless his soul, I don't want to talk anything wrong, but whatever I read from the newspapers and whatever I read, since being from the film industry, what people shared with me, I would like to share with you all too, that he needed to be in a rehab, which he refused to go. And he was very stubborn. And he wanted to, start his for last, I think, one and a half after Chichore. I don't think so. He worked for any film or he shot for any film. Then there was a film which was going to start. Which Mr. by the name of Hero Number One or something, which was a remake of a Govinda film, in which Rhea Chakraborty took Sushant and introduced him to Mr. Ruby Jaffrey, and he said okay, but unfortunately then the lockdown happened, so because of that everything was on standstill. And Sushant was because first he was staying, someone whom I know. He was staying in his apartment on rent. Then later on, when he shifted to this place where he had his untimely death. There he was sharing that apartment. So that all shows. And he kept on calling his father, but his father didn't have the time to come. That is very shocking and very sad. a son is calling his father and he said he was busy, and various excuses were given. But whatever said and done, we lost a good soul, a very noble soul, a very talented boy. And I pray to God that wherever he is, he should be happy. Please keep him happy. And he should not face any of the sorrows and the turmoil that he's gone through on this earth.
Right. Manvi Taneja, I want to read you this part of the FIR that was registered by Sushant's father. My son was at the peak of his acting career till May 2019. During that period, Rhea and her relatives developed an acquaintance with my son under a deliberate conspiracy so that Rhea could establish herself in the film industry, and with an eye on Sushant's wealth, he was later made to rent a house that was haunted, and that had an impact on my son. Do you think this was the level of conjecture that dominated this entire narrative, which completely sidelined the fact that he was someone with problems?
He was never with problems. It was Rhea who was the problem. Rhea was the one who used to give him drugs. She used to give him drugs. You're completely
dismissing the entire history of drug use, the fact that he was seeing a therapist.
That's what I'm telling you.
That's
what I am telling you, that Rhea used to give him drugs in his food, as in jo bhi wo khata tha ya pita tha, she used to give him drugs, and that too he was not aware of it.
You know that for a fact.
He was not at all aware of it. Because he never used to take drugs, and I have just listened to Doctor and Mr. Khan. They are saying that he was used to having drugs, or he has some mental issues. I fail to understand if he has some mental issues. Then how can let me complete, madam? I did not interfere in when you were speaking. If he had some mental issues, then how would he be able to do so much well in his movies and on sets? If he was a patient of bipolar, depression, anxiety, stress, that would have shown in the set, at the time of set, when he was interactive with people.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to say, in the entertainment industry, we are littered with examples of people performing movies and shows and still suffering mental health. Look at Go on.
I know where are you going. If people have some anxiety issues, if people have some temper issues, that they tend to show it on the set also. They tend to show it because you are in a habit to be in camera so much that you cannot pretend, you cannot hide it. But in case of Sushant Singh Rajput, he did not misbehave with anyone. He did not. Nobody was able to see his mental issues. If you call it as in the set, or maybe he's meeting someone, or maybe he's captured in any other camera. So I don't buy that he was under stress. It was Rhea who used to give him drugs, and if she was in love with him, then why did she go? She did not let him meet with his parents, his father or sister. She was the one.
How could she stop someone from meeting their parents? Explain that to me.
No. Because we have been in debates, and we have interacted with her sister, and her sister said that Rhea never used to let them meet Sushant Singh Rajput.
I find that very strange that I'm trying to meet a sibling of mine and his girlfriend is stopping me from. How can someone stop a person from meeting their family? I fail to understand that. It's not like some ivory tower surrounded by tall walls that that we won't let them meet them. I mean, this is the problem.
If you are giving a person a drugs, and the person is not conscious, you can make him do anything what you want to do.
So you're saying that she drugged him and she was puppeteering Sushant Singh Rajput throughout this entire process?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Nisha Khanna, I mean, this conjecture just keeps continuing. We have no solid evidence of anything. Dr. Khanna, how do you react to these charges that it was Rhea Chakraborty who was causing those mental problems with Sushant Singh Rajput?
I'm saying, as a mental health professional, by seeing numerous cases, dealt with numerous people, when parents' reactions are like this way, when drugs history, people are denied they are having a drug history, they go to a psychiatrist, they don't acknowledge in front of a psychiatrist they are taking drugs regularly. I can quote 100,000 cases in my 20 plus years of career. I think so. This today's, I'm sorry to say, but your program will actually making me do one research paper over this. where I will point it out that mental health is the need of hour, and lots of celebrities or maybe lots of successful people, doctors, scientists,
Absolutely.
Professors, not any, maybe the journalism, maybe the profession you say is TV anchors, maybe the cricketers, you talk about sports athletes, you name the profession.
How many videos of Sushant you have seen like that? Madam, just answer me that. How many videos of Sushant have you seen like that? Did you see any of the videos, his private videos where he has lost his school?
So.
No.
Ma'am,
You are
mental
saying that
health
you have
doesn't
seen.
come out in
No, it comes
action
out.
at
It
the end
comes
of
out.
the
You
day.
cannot hide. No. If you are into anxiety, if you are, as she always say that he was a patient of bipolar. If I'm not wrong, we had many debates. So, have you ever seen him in some camera, or have you ever seen any clip where he has lost his cool?
Ma'am,
do you have some evidence?
Cool doesn't mean. Do you
ये सब
think
बेकार की
that
बातें हैं, madam? It's all crap. It's सब बेकार की बातें हैं. He never lose his control. It is nowhere captured in the camera.
I think so. You are more. I think
we
so.
are so much habitual of cameras. Rather, no. We are so much habitual of cameras. If it is not our camera, if it is not set camera, then it's a public camera. It could be a public camera, madam. Madam, it could be a public camera. We have seen other actors, madam. We have seen other actors. Their anger is captured in a camera. Where was his anger captured in a camera? No, you don't have any. No, you don't have any. So he was not a bipolar patient. He was not. It was just Rhea was giving him drugs. That's why he was not conscious, and whatever he was doing.
Mr. Praveen Dixit, I want to come to you on this point, and this is the problem when it comes to this entire case. You have Manvi Taneja arguing about mental health with Dr. Nisha Khanna, who's a 20-year veteran when it comes to the field of psychology. You're having people throw up these charges, now throwing grenades in an already volatile issue. We're having actors debate mental health with professionals, thinking they have more knowledge about the field as compared to them. This crazy conjecture is taking over this entire case and continues to do so. It's been over 2 years. What is stopping the CBI from filing a closure report? At the end of the day, the agency has all the facts before them. They can interview as many people associated with the case. Why is it taking so long to come to the bottom of the fact that what killed Sushant Singh Rajput?
Now, see, first of all, with all my respect to the doctor psychiatrist, I must say that a psychiatrist on the basis of the academic experience cannot dictate the investigation, and cannot say that just because he was visiting some doctor psychiatrist and he was having some mental issues, that means he is bound to, or he has committed suicide. To have this kind of a conclusion is totally baseless. Mm-hmm. It is nothing but conjecture. And further going, I would say, as far as the CBI investigation is concerned, these are the various angles from various people which are being looked into. And I'm sure the CBI is having their own reasons why the investigation is still not concluded. Now, for example, this person, as he has mentioned in the beginning itself, that he himself was under threat, and being under threat of his job, and perhaps maybe as Ms. Taneja is mentioning about the persons who were manipulating. Now, he is afraid of these manipulators, and therefore he did not disclose whatever his observations. Now he is feeling that yes, he is now out of the job, he has retired, and he has further come up. Now, once he has come up and saying certain things, it will not be correct to discard them just because that he is a employee and not considered as an expert. Number two, whatever, see, the period has gone, we don't know what process of investigation or what are the reasons why the CBI has not yet concluded. So we must give adequate time for them to come before the court. Now, the court will ask the CBI this question, what you are doing, and we need to be informed about the progress of investigation. That is perfectly correct. And I'm sure the judicial officer will do it. And the CBI also being a responsible investigating agency, they also will certainly like to conclude. And once they are convinced of whatever the track of events, they will present the same before the judicial officer for their appreciation. So we should not rush and say that, no, we rule out the angle of his
Right.
say assassination, or he has committed suicide, whatever it may be. Just because I am a psychiatrist, I have no right to say that what the person has done or what the events have taken place, they have to
Right.
be in my direction. Or
Mr. Dixit, I think we can leave it at that way. I get your point that you're trying to say that you can't dismiss what this mortuary staff member has said. I want to thank our guests for joining us on this debate. But the need of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we need a closure report in this case, because at the end of the day, without any concrete evidence, without any concrete statement coming in from the agency, you will once again have this entire storm of charges where one side claims conspiracy and other side claims says that it's a case of suicide. We'll only have a storm of charges. We'll have nothing concrete. We will still not know what led to the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. And that is not a great place to be in, because what we have seen that the storm of charges leads to many people's reputations being dragged through the mud. We need to avoid that. The CBI needs to file that closure report. Now let's shift focus to another point of contention that has emerged in this country, which is over yoga. Now, yoga has once again become that flashpoint between the advocates of this art and the Muslim clerics, where it is once again in the eye of religious politics. Now, for years, Muslim clerics have been calling it un-Islamic, even tagging the promotion of yoga by the central government as the saffronization of education. But now, the literal Mecca of the Islamic faith, that is Saudi Arabia, has decided to host an event to promote yoga. The country has invited 11 Arab countries to participate in the event. The ancient art, which has scientifically been proven to be physically and spiritually enriching, is a prime export of Indian culture to the world and has been embraced by multiple nations as well as many multilateral forums. But why is it still dubbed a Hindu product in India when it does not require any religious allegiance from its practitioners? Yoga doesn't require anyone to chant mantras or even say Jai Shri Ram. Do the exercise and reap the benefits. It's that simple. The same way joining community celebrations of Eid and Christmas do not make me a Muslim or Christian, practicing yoga does not make one a Hindu. So is it just a soft target of religious politics that undermines India's global brand? That's our next debate. And let's get to our guests. I'm joined by Irshad Hussain, Deshatan Nigam, as well as Maulana Masood Ul Hassan Kazmi on the broadcast. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on CNN News 18 when it comes to discussing this evergreen topic, when it comes to this clash between the yoga practitioners as well as Islamic scholars who continue to call it un-Islamic. Maulana Sahab, क्यों इसको फिर से आप un-Islamic कह रहे हैं?
No, कोई इसको un-Islamic नहीं कह रहा है. योगा एक्सेप्टेबल है और योगा हो रहा है. और कभी भी कुछ लोग होते हैं, हर तरह से होते हैं. देखिए, ऐसा है कि जिस चीज पर कुरान और प्रोफेट की सेइंग हदीस साइलेंट होती है, वो कुछ इस तरह के इश्यू होते हैं जिस पर इस्लामिक स्कॉलर्स, मुफ्तीज, क्लेरिक्स वो इवॉल्व करते हैं अपने ही एज पर देयर ओन अंडरस्टैंडिंग. तो जब शुरू में 2013 एंड 14 में जब ये ज्यादा ये मैड हेडलाइन योगा, तो उस जमाने में कुछ क्लेरिक, कुछ रेलिक्टेंट थे. तो वो उस जमाने में वो रेलिक्टेंट थे, तो वो डिफरेंट वाइस दे रहे थे. लेकिन उसके बाद पीपल अंडरस्टूड द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ योगा. योगा इज हेल्पफुली एंड फॉर द इट इज लाइक एक्सरसाइज. We also do exercise in namaz, but after namaz we also need some other exercises. People also go for other exercises. So yoga is also an exercise, and nobody is questioning this. Nobody is objecting over the yoga. We also take part in yoga, but the but the other aspect of this is also this Surya Namaskara. Surya Namaskara. Namaskar means prostrating toward the Surya sun, prostrating toward other creatures of Allah. That is objectionable. And in Saudi Arabia, yoga is there, and we are very happy. We are proud that India invention is making headline all over the world, and the foreign lands, India's things are making headline, and they are adopting that. There is no question over yoga, no objection over yoga, and we are very happy with yoga. So, saying that the cleric are the hardliners, such type of extremists are in all religions, in all sects, in all community, in all castes.
So just to clarify, you're saying your only problem is with Surya Namaskar.
Surya Namaskara, yes, Surya Namaskara, because the numbing and prostrating, doing sajda is only allowed in Islam before Allah. Even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muslim are not allowed before prostrate before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to make.
Mullah sahab, ab मेरे को ये बता दीजिए, the Olympic Games. How did the Olympic Games begin? The Olympic Games began in Greece as a tribute to the god of thunder, Zeus. It was a religious ceremony for the god of thunder in ancient Greece. Should Muslim nations not take part in the Olympics?
No, they are taking part.
No, I'm saying, should they not take part in the Olympics? Because it started as a tribute to the god Zeus.
No. So there is nothing in Islam which is forbidden of such thing. That is why nobody objects to that. But the Quran, when specifically Quran says, do not make sajda to anything except God, even to Prophet Muhammad. So, अगर हम सजदे करने के लिए कुछ कहा जाएगा, तो the sun and other things all are the creatures of God, and we are not the prostrating or doing sajda is forbidden for us.
I understand, but no one's asking you to bow before the sun. You can do Surya Namaskar inside a closed room. You don't need to chant the mantras. Deshatan Nigam is yoga has it once again become a soft target for religious extremists on the other side?
Here the fact remains, Ayushman, that yoga is international today. Yoga is not merely exercise, but a union of mind, body and spirit. Those who consider yoga to be only a mode of exercise are doing injustice to themselves and yoga itself. And, the lady who started it, Nuaf Marwai, was the one who benefited from it, who was very sick. And after, following Ayurveda and yoga, she was able to cure herself, and since 21 years, more than 21 years, she is going without medication, and she formed Arab Yoga Foundation. And today, the festival which is being organized by the Saudi Yoga Committee, the 11 Arabic countries are participating in it. And there are specific chants also out there, which is actually been proven by science of waves and vibrations. So it is a complete system of and a way of life, which the Sanatan way of life in India has given it to the world. Whether the extremists like it or not, it is a product of Sanatan culture of this country. And the world is benefiting it. We have the Yoga International Day also. And therefore, what the world today is seeing, the Saudi Arabia is leading the reforms in the Muslim world. Now, they have introduced Ramayana in their curriculum. They have rejected 80% of the hadiths. and they have formed a committee on Quran. Probably the Maulana on the panel knows about it or not, I'm not sure, but I have read, in fact, I have seen the interview of Prince Mohammed bin Salman. So the reforms have started from 2018. They are leaving the extremist things. They also, and Maulana ji also realizes that singing, acting in movies, watching movies, putting on makeup, all these things are banned in Islam, but they are followed by almost everybody in Islam today. And that is what the Saudi Arabia knows today, that you cannot live with the extremist views, and hence you have to open, you have to you have to be universal, and hence the Sanatan way of life is the universal, because it does not say I'm superior to your religion.
Absolutely.
It says all religions are equal, and you may have a different mode of worship, but the path goes to the same place, to the supreme consciousness. And therefore, yoga is one of the ways of reaching that consciousness. It is not merely a set of exercises. It is far beyond that. And the Saudi Arabia has realized that, and they are leading the Arab world. And a lot of reforms are taking place in their country. The equal rights to women, hijab being banned in the classrooms and examination halls, abaya also not mandatory in public places. So it is a way of, they are changing their way of life. Mm-hmm. And they are going to their roots.
Absolutely.
They also know.
Yeah, Irshad Hussain, I want to take that point to you, that when it comes to the understanding of yoga, now the entire world has embraced this cultural export from India, but this tagging of yoga with the religious card, with the Hindutva card, is this primarily just an Indian problem perpetuated by certain religious scholars of the right wing? Is this particularly an Indian problem in your opinion?
Yes, Ashman, thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. See, every religion has two aspects, basically. Mm-hmm. It's spiritual and ritual. So the ritualistic aspect, the people who are really following the ritualistic aspect, really care more for the rituals, while Islam, like all other religions, has a lot of spiritualism in this. If we just, it's good. It's very good to, I think, just talk briefly about religions. Hinduism came 5,000 years ago. Then we had 2,000 years ago came Christianity, and then of course Judaism was also there. Then Islam came in around 1,400 years ago. So every religion, and once it came with certain rituals and spirituals. So some of the rituals have to be given away, and spiritualism has to be there. So that's one thing to be done. And every religion is going through the phase of Renaissance. It happened in case of Hinduism, where very bad practices, even like Sati Pratha in 19th century were abolished by Vivekananda ji, a very good step taken. Similarly, in Christianity, the Catholics moved on to Protestant. Similarly, Islam is going through a phase of metamorphosis without changing the basic structure of Islam, the basic pillars of Islam. I think it's good. It's a good step by many countries to adopt the path where the spiritualism is not touched and the rituals are abolished. So that's to answer the question about the changes being done in some countries, which is a welcome thing. Coming back to this part, I really do not think who's objecting to yoga. I have not. Okay, in the beginning, as one of the panelists had said earlier, there was some. People were, because things are not defined. 1,400 years ago, yoga was not there, so it was not there in the Quran and Hadith. So people questioned what it is, and now when they realize that it's yoga is something which is which has nothing wrong, it has no conflict with religion, and even not only that, see, Muslims were encouraged 1,400 years ago to put their physical and mental health at all the times. And there are examples in hadiths and where Prophet, he made races. He ran with one of his wives and so many things. I mean, so there's no denying there is nothing which is against the religion in yoga, and I don't think anybody is objecting to it. However, in the same breath, it will be okay for me to say something that, see, yoga, as you all know, yoga has lots of asanas. It's got Konasana, it's got Kati Chakrasana, Haspadasan, Ardha Chakrasana, Trikonasana, we have Garudasana, we have Utkatasana, we have Paschimottasana. All these asanas are there. So why we are not talking about those asanas? Why, if somebody is forcing only to do Surya Namaskar? Mm-hmm. So that's something which pinches. That is to provoke. So that provocation should not be there if it is there at all. And for that also I have an answer maybe in my next part. I'll not to take much time. I'll answer to that Surya Namaskar part also. But for the timing, this is what I have to say. Thanks.
Right.
Back to you.
Irshad Hussain, Deshant Nigam, Maulana Masood, Ul Hassan Kasmi, thank you for joining us on this debate. Well, it seems that at the end of the day, when it comes to yoga, all the faiths have more in common with the practice of yoga when it comes to the spirituality of these faiths. And at the end of the day, the league of right-wing extremists who are speaking out against yoga is only shrinking as its global dominance continues to expand. That's all we have to pack in on the show. I will see you in just a short while with the late night edition.